What's up, guys? Jeremy Clark here with Eli from at Premium FTS Discord. That's the Premium Tier Futures Discord. And we're going to talk about some of the craziness that happened today. It was a wild market.
Yeah, but
I was not prepared for that big drop. I did not see that coming.
yeah, I was just shutting down, heading into work when I saw it starting to move. It happened quick.
Yeah. Oh, so you were still on.
Yeah, just barely.
Yeah, what was let's see, I'm looking at SPX. What was that? 757? That sound right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, so it dropped. Well, it consolidated sideways, just under R1, touched R1, went sideways, and then just whipped through VWAP, whipped through the 21 EME, and whipped through the central pivot range, dumped all the way to S2 where it hesitated and tested, kind of pulled back to, looks like maybe the 1 minute EMA. Yeah, pulled back to the 1 minute EMA, didn't even touch it. And then it flew past S2, S3, dipped under S4, came back down to S5, and then it just there's not even pivots to put in. We have to switch to the weeklies. And I think it actually dropped under S2 on the weekly. I'll just show you that right here since we're on the topic. Yeah, so there's the almost came down to S4 or S3. So it lost S2 on the weekly. That's pretty much a confirmed breakdown. It gets really crazy when it loses S3, which it didn't. So I'm kind of looking at this like, is it gonna, is this a big shakeout and it's gonna reverse and come back the other way? I know somebody in group mentioned something like that. Might have been you.
I think it was Dave. Yeah.
Was it Dave? Yeah, they were like, is this just a big shakeout? It's gonna flip back on us the other way. I could totally see that.
Yeah, we'll see if there's any announcements this weekend. But
Yeah, or if it's
yeah, man, I was really hoping the tariff all the tariff stuff was settled by now.
Yeah. Apparently it's just kicking off.
Yeah. Did you have any trades on when that started?
So I saw it dumping and I tried to get into a trade and it blew past my entry. And so I had the trade copier on and it didn't trigger. And then I sort of assumed that because it didn't trigger, that it just didn't trigger. And then what happened was like a minute or two later, it did trigger. It's like price came back down to my entry, and all of a sudden, one of my accounts was up $350, and I just kind of closed it out. I was like, it was whipping back and forth so fast that I didn't want to chance anything on it. And I did run another trade where I did chance on it on another account, and I think I cleared $150 or $200 on that. And then I was like, whoa, that was crazy. I'm not even going to mess with this. And David was like coming back from yoga. He's like, what did I miss? What did I miss? And I'm like, dude, just drink some tea and just sit back and watch, because like this is gnarly.
Hey Dave, how's it going?
Hey, you guys, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you great.
Yeah.
Awesome. How's it going?
Good. Welcome.
Thanks. What a day, huh?
What a day. We were just discussing when the other David came back from yoga and he was like totally FOMOing, freaking out. Oh, I got to get in on this. And I was like, dude, just don't, like, just
How
Just
long had
relax.
he been talking about a short too? He been wanting to take a short for. Seems like he'd been waiting for a short setup for a long time.
I know. He was looking for it. He was actually
Poor guy.
he was actually ahead of us, or ahead of me on that.
Yeah.
Although I'm looking at the weekly on SPX, and we were right at the top this whole week.
Mm.
So, and that gives us, gosh, down to like probably near 6,000 to come back to the midline. It could always drop, test the bottom line too, which is in the lower 5,000s, but the midline is probably, I would guess, where it's headed on a pullback, if that's what we're about to get, because otherwise it would actually have to break out, and breakouts are usually fail, as we know.
Yeah. This is such a weird event. And I feel like it could completely reverse with one tweet.
I know. I we were talking about that too. I think it was you that said something about that in chat. What happens on Monday if a tweet comes out that just sends it the other direction? That would that would be wild and totally not unanticipated, or wouldn't be that surprising, I guess.
Yeah, if you think back to those April lows, when he did tweet, he said the stock market's going higher, or the highest it's ever gone, or something like that. And then
That's
that
right.
morning, it all reversed. It all changed.
That's right.
And here we are.
I'm kind of looking at that week on the chart, and we were pretty high on the weekly. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Took it 8 weeks to get down to the bottom of the channel of the uptrend before that tweet came out, which would have been sometime in April. So I mean, we could have potential for some good downside.
Yep. We could.
Yeah.
Sure
Interesting.
could.
I'm just going to take a look at NASDAQ index. What are we on, the 30-minute? Wow. That dropped like 1,000 points.
Oh, wow.
Did you have anything on, Dave? Any trades?
I took a few trades here and there, just trying to run the ranges, the occasional ranges that it had, but nothing too substantial. I did anticipate that it would at least make it down to. Trying to remember, I had the roll gap still not filled from the September contract change to the December one, and there was some gap I had still remaining that was down at, like, I want to say 6610 or 11 or somewhere in that area, like just above the 6600 level. So I had a feeling we were going to fill that at least, and we got a lot more.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, just looking at the daily on that. Same thing, the weekly, we're at the high. Looks like a big rising wedge on the daily. Not too surprising that it broke support there.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely think everybody's got broken structure at this point, and now it's like, now what? And I think, do we have a holiday? Is Columbus Day or something on Monday?
Oh yeah, I think something's coming up. This Monday?
I saw something about the 13th.
Yep, that's Columbus Day, Monday the 13th.
Okay.
So I guess we'll be closed.
Yeah.
Bitcoin, I was really surprised that Bitcoin kind of dropped in sympathy.
Largest sell-off of all time.
Was it really?
Yeah. Beats out COVID and the FTX collapse.
Oh my God.
Jeez.
We dropped from 126 down to 1049.
It was
It's like-
exactly the 618 Fibonacci level, that low. Or at least on my chart, it dropped down from our original breakout. If you draw it all the way back to where is it? When we broke out of the consolidation areas up around the 70,000 area. So if you take the retracement of that was the 618 level.
Okay,
that
so
we
that
just
was
retraced to.
April.
something
Does
about
that sound right? The April breakout, that,
Um,
or actually before that?
yes. No, I am talking about the April
Okay.
that pullback, that current macro pullback low from April. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that breakout from there, the 618 level for me on my chart was that this recent pullback to 106,500 ish,
Yeah.
and it bounced.
I have it marked a little bit kind of, I'm just gonna say subjectively on my end. Let's see if I can find an arrow here. So I drew my fibs from last big horizontal consolidation, which was
Yeah.
made September. And I'm not saying that
Yep.
that's right, because you know, on the shorter term it can always pull back and do those 62% pullbacks. But this was just like the biggest kind of pullback I spotted, and I just out of curiosity wanted to measure it. And from trading crypto previously, a lot of times what I look for, so I had this 127% extension marked, which was like right around 125. And
Oh,
and so we got up here to, you know, this would have been the 100% extension, and it pulled back under the 50% and almost to 62%. I mean, that might even be 61.8. And then it came back up, and when it made it past the 100% extension, you know, that's when I started watching, because I'm looking for it to hit this 127% right around 126. And it tried a couple times, it fell off, and then it did it, I think yesterday, or yeah, I think it was yesterday or the day before. So it hit it. And so just in my past experience during a bull run, whenever we hit that 127.2% extension, it will drop right back down to test the previous 100% extension, which is exactly what it did. Yeah, that's super common. So I don't get too worried when I see that, especially when I see this uptrend channel and we haven't even hit the bottom yet.
Yeah,
So
this felt like a kind of a nothing. It was fast and it was violent, but I'm not worried.
yeah, would you say it was on low volume or high volume? Is that anything that you were taking a look at?
I'd say it's pretty high volume. I haven't been watching crypto as long as you have, but my chart, especially at the 5 o'clock, and I really watch Bitcoin on the 30-minute. I like to channel it out through 30 minutes, and there's a big high volume 30-minute bar at the my 5 o'clock, so you're 2 o'clock, I guess.
Oh yeah, right there.
Yeah,
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah, and you know the surrounding volume of all the other periods around that were pretty high too. But so I mean that's also where I think there was all the buying too. So I
yeah,
think that was just short, mostly short covering, since it was at such an exacting. It was also the 15% correction level, which was 107-ish.
oh, that's super interesting.
Yeah,
Because I know like 10%, 15%, and 20% are really common pullbacks for Bitcoin.
yeah, and it did bounce at the 10% correction. I threw a buy order there at 113.6. And it came and sliced right. It hit my buy order and sliced right on through it. Kept going. I was like, all right, where's it going next? Must be the 15%.
I believe
Sure
it.
enough.
I was just telling Eli, I kind of had that experience trying to short today, and I had tried to get into an order and it just blew past me, and then I didn't realize the order was still kind of floating around in there, and then all of a sudden one of my accounts was up like $350, and I just closed it. I didn't even like, you know, I'm watching the order flow, and I'm like, this thing is just whipping back and forth. Like, I don't want to take a $1,000 stop loss in the hopes that, you know, I could double that or triple that. It's not worth it.
Yeah. Yeah. You had to, if you entered a trade, you had to know that you had to keep your risk on for well longer than you wanted to. Even if it ran in your favor
Yeah.
a bunch, you knew it was going to come back and test where you had entered at maybe once or twice, and it would take you out no matter what. So unless you were scalping for just a few points, you were
and you would have had to scalp fast. I mean,
exactly.
You know, I've got like about a second and a half lag or second lag on my computer, and that would have been too much. And you know, like you said, I think I did try to enter one trade and it went my way, and I just immediately put a break even on it just for safety, and it just immediately took it out.
Yeah.
And that trade had gone up like, I don't know, $200 or something, and I was like, man. I was looking at the candle ATR, and it got up above 7 points, which is just, I mean, it's just untradeable unless you're,
That's wild.
like how do you put a stop on 7 points? Because the ATR is a average of 3 candles, and let's say all 3 go against you, that's 21 points.
Right.
I don't even know how to put a protective stop loss on something like that.
I can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did take I took a trade here and there with tiny size, but I couldn't enter in my normal like break of the previous candle. I had to like wait for the break and then set my order within the previous candle, maybe 50% back in order to get a good entry in and not have to take on too much risk, but it was near impossible.
That's smart.
do.
So you were kind of placing your limit orders like inside the retracement zone.
Yeah, so my in a normal market, my order would have already triggered. I would have already been in, but I was waiting for the trigger and then hoping that, there would be some kind of retracement back within so that I could reduce my risk enough to make it a viable trade for myself.
Yeah.
But I was like, this is just madness. Why am I even trying to do this?
It's madness. That reminds me, there was one that I think I posted. Oh yeah, here it is. Hold this. You guys seeing that?
Yes.
Yeah.
So this whole thing happened really, really fast. But there was a nice 2ES second entry short that showed up. And so I was watching this downtrend. I wish I had the time on here. I don't. I was watching this downtrend for, a break of structure, and it pulled back to the EMA. We got 2 legs correction, and then it printed this perfect little second entry short candle. I guess it could have been a little more perfect. It could have been below the EMA totally, but it had a nice long wick, and it had pushed through it. And about 3 different times I thought, just hit the button, just hit the sell button. And I just couldn't bring myself to do it. And I mean, this happened in just seconds. It just went, and it hit that recent low, and that was that.
Wow.
But it was, in a slower moving market, that's actually not a bad setup.
Right. Oh yeah, that's a great setup. You had to really anticipate it occurring almost before it occurred and just be absolutely ready.
Yeah.
And that's just so hard to do.
And it almost would have paid out like 10 points, I think, from 26 to 16 in 2 candles. Oh, that would have been awesome. Woulda, shoulda. Let's see. I've got some other stuff in here. You mentioned something about trading the ranges, and I'd love to hear both of you guys' take on that and how you do it, if you do it, when you do it, that sort of thing.
I can show you one trade that I took and I scalped. If I can bring it up real fast, I can remember where it was. It was earlier in the morning, or late in the morning, I guess I should say. Let's see if I can find it. I'm gonna have to draw in a couple ranges here, or one range, because I think I got rid of everything already.
just as a side note, there was a very, very narrow, not super narrow, but very narrow central pivot range, which usually indicates possibility for breakout or breakdown.
What was it?
And that was on SPX. I don't know if I really clocked it on. Yeah, it was pretty narrow on ES as well. Right there.
For me, with ranges, it was something that I wanted to get better at, but I avoided doing it just because I never found a way to do it to do it well. I kind of more gravitate towards momentum style trading, but
Gotcha.
yeah, I always wanted to try and learn it.
Yeah, it's something I went through a period where I've just like dedicated myself to it, and I will say I've gotten a little better. There are certain times when I spot them and it's great. Let's see, screen. Okay, we got you pulled up here, Dave.
So we have, this is the range I was looking at. When we came down in here, we had these 2 touches here and here that kind of gave me the idea that I was thinking maybe there's a range starting to form.
Yeah.
And then we had this touch at the low, so I thought I had my high and the low. And when we finally got this 3rd touch at the top, and we came back down and consolidated down where this naked VPOC was. This was support back on like 926, so I knew there was quite a bit of support off this VPOC down at the bottom here.
What level is that? 6650 or something?
6660, just underneath that, yeah.
Gotcha.
6659. And with this nice little second entry long here, I actually took a long. Can you believe it? It's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
But we closed this candle that I have this little arrow at the bottom of. We closed back inside this yellow range, and as soon as that candle closed, if we finished in the upper third, I put my stop. I put like 1 contract in. As soon as it closed and the next candle closed, I basically put my stop at break even +1, and I, as you can see, it came close to stopping me out.
Yeah.
It didn't, and it ran all the way to the other side of the range. I think I got out at the top of that range.
Nice.
Really nice.
And as you can see, it kept going. It went pretty far. But that was the one nice range play I think I was watching, and then I took that worked.
I think we might have gotten in on the same exact play.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a nice one.
That's
it was
cool.
a nice look below, fail, and come back in. So.
Yeah. Yeah. I saw it setting up underneath, and when it broke the bottom line, I got in, and then I sort of, once I got continuation, I kept scaling in. So I scaled into 5, and I just targeted the midline. And then I left a runner to go to the top, and when it pulled back to the midline, I just got out. I didn't wait.
Yeah,
I didn't wait for
that one was scary.
Yeah. Because you never know. Like, one of the things I was taught that I don't follow was to only, short, like if the range was entered from above, which this one was, we came down from the top, we entered the range from above, to only play shorts because you're playing with the trend. But in my experience with ranges like this, I mean, it's the perfect counter trend opportunity, because you got, these are market makers at the bottom they're targeting all these trapped shorts. So that's like a perfect opportunity to ride that bus with them. That's just my thing.
An aggressive sellers aren't going to short anywhere inside this range. They're going to wait for it to come back above and target a failed breakout.
Yeah, what you see, right?
Exactly what they did.
See, right? Well, it tested it and then it failed. Yeah, exactly what they did.
Looked like it was going to go, and boom, drop back through. So yeah, that was the only one I really saw. I thought was a really good setup.
That's cool. I'm gonna see if I can pull in that one that I was just looking at as well. I think that's the same. Let's see. This one was at about 7:15, so that would have been a 10:20 your time. Maybe it just looks similar.
Yeah, 10:20. Yep. Let's see what you got.
So on the left here, I was just I had just kind of signed on and I just kind of FOMO'd into some trades and I was getting kind of chopped up. And so I took a break. I made some coffee. I, you know, fed the dogs and just really cleared my head for a bit. And I had marked this as a potential range. Um, saw this kind of double bump at the bottom, this little test at the top, and I was like, let's see if that is the range. And then when we got this shakeout and it bounced off the volume value area high, that's when I really like this shakeout sort of V-shaped setup, and I could just see the order flow was going the wrong way for it being a short, and so I immediately targeted that midline. And that's been one of my most successful trades. If I really want to be sure and hit a target that's, nothing's guaranteed, but a target that's more guaranteed, I'll aim for that midline.
Very nice.
And I posted this earlier as well, but you can see the volume circles came in on the Jigsaw auction Vista. This was the bottom of that range. And then when it came up to the midline, big volume circles, and price was never able to push back through. So that's kind of where I got out. And that was like my other confirmation I was looking at.
Great exit.
I've been trying to listen to these circles a lot lately. And because I see them at support and resistance at reversal levels. And I think in the past, I would just kind of hope that price would push through. And it rarely does. And when it does, there's little signals. And if you're not getting those signals and there's a big high volume push, it's like, that's a reversal signal. So trying to respect that, because I could have gotten out here, or I could have waited and gotten out, here and lost a bunch of money or lost profits. The other thing I noticed was there was no liquidity being added up here at 6,800, or no significant liquidity. So whenever I see the Vista running out like that, it's not likely to try to go for that as a liquidity pool because there's nothing there.
Right.
So I've been kind of using that. Now this was like a few minutes later, I went back and looked at my range, and I had it off this high candle. It was too high, and I went back and I found this candle here. So I want to get the most touches, with the most. There we got 4 touches. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I call these little, when you get a little W pattern like that, and this is like a range setter, so from like here to here in 67.90ish, which has been a key level to 67.97 or so. When you get that real clean move off both top and bottom, I usually look to set my range there. So I kind of tightened up this range, and yeah, and this was the trade I took right here, and you can see it did eventually go all the way to the top. I could have held that.
That's nice.
Now this is just another view of that. Just some more volume circles that signified another. That was the top of the range there, 67.97. Then you got those volume circles, and it fell back off. And I just marked 67.94, which I think, I could be wrong, but I think at the time that was possibly also the session VPOC. So I really like it when the midline lines up with session VPOC, and even better if it lines up with a high volume node. Like if I can get all 3 of those, that's a magnet. It's nice when VWAP is involved as well, as being the midline. Just adds more weight to that being a key level. Just showing there was another instance of no liquidity being added. You got high volume circles. Price tested it, wasn't even able to get 1 tick above it, and then just slowly dropped off. Okay, that one we talked about already. And then this is just a shot of SPX, just looking at how well the indexes respect the pivots. You always see some kind of interaction there. R1, S2, I find the pivots much more accurate on the index than I do on futures, and
Oh, that's interesting.
I think it's because futures are tied to the index, right? They're a derivative of it. So, if someone was controlling price, where would they be controlling it from? And in theory, at least, it would be from the index, not from futures, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
This was that 6690 level. I had this as a naked value area low from, I think, September 25th. And you can see we kind of broke out of structure, and then it just popped right off of it. I was seriously thinking about getting short here, but I was cautious because of that level, and it really bounced right there. Let's see, what is this? This is just another break of structure from earlier. Price was going up, broke structure, and then it tested that high again. So, second entry long. See those all the time. I didn't want to play this one. I didn't like the way it looked, but I was expecting it to test that level, and it did. Whoops. I can back up. It's not. All right. So where should we go next? Should we look at crypto?
I have one thing I wanted to ask you before we leave the ES.
Yeah.
Because I've never seen this before, and it's where the start of the selling began.
Okay.
Do you have a massive, especially if you're on the 2000 tick chart? It's probably on the 5-minute chart too, I'd imagine, but maybe not. I have a massive gap within the 2000 tick chart, and those gaps that occur in the 2000 tick chart, they last for maybe a minute or two, and they almost always get filled. And I have a gap that's from 67.94.50 down through 67.92. So it's a large gap.
Okay.
It's probably around 8 o'clock your time.
Okay. I'm looking at the 30-second and minute chart, 5-minute chart. It's not showing up on here, but yeah, that's really interesting. So that showed up on the tick chart, 2000 tick chart.
Yeah, I'll share my screen real quick and show you what I'm talking about.
Yeah, let's take a look at that.
I've never seen anything like that before. Where
is that on TradingView also?
It probably is. So I use TopStep X, which is a TradingView program, derivative program or something like that. But yeah, so you can see in this little, that's probably not the right tool. This little square, this little area right here, where there's a gap between the prior candle.
Hang on one second. I'm just gonna pull you in here. Oh, okay, there it is.
Oh yeah.
Woo! Look at that.
I actually have to say I did have a sim short right there, and my first target got filled, instantly, and then my final target got filled instantly, and I was like, what happened? But yes, this gap right here exists on my 2000 tick chart, and I've never seen it. I would have expected that to come back and get filled, and
You know what that looks like to me? The only time I've ever seen that, God, it was like last year or something. Thor was trading futures off IBKR, and there was just a data gap because the price moves so fast that IBKR is kind of known for like their data on futures can lag a bit. Just went.
That's probably what this is.
Yeah,
it's so large.
It's so large. It's not a normal like.
It's not like 1 or 2 tick chart or 1 or 2 ticks of a gap. It's multiple points.
Yeah, and because like I don't see gaps that often on the tick chart, and when I do, they're small usually.
Yeah, they're tiny.
I think that was just the speed of it. Just took off. No time to print. Sorry.
Yeah, that was wild. Okay, I just
Yeah.
wanted to share that.
No, I'm glad
See
you.
if you had
Thank
seen
you. I love stuff like that.
that. Yeah.
Let's see.
You want to talk crypto?
Yeah, let's take a look at the crypto chart.
How about Sonic?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I don't want to skip
Sonic.
ahead. But
No, let's skip ahead to
I know
Sonic.
you've been watching Sonic, and I
I've
have been watching it ever since you mentioned it. And
yeah, I've been expecting Sonic to, do something, and in the other direction, you know, 17 was a key level, and it dropped all the way to 845. Dropped over all the way to 8 cents. 17 was the low of like August 23, I think. And so that's always been my buy level, and that's going back to Phantom, so it's probably not going to be on here.
oh, really? Yeah, I only have a chart back to February this year. I don't even know why that is. Must be looking at a wrong chart, but
Well, it didn't really, I don't think it went live until January as Sonic.
Okay.
Before that it was Phantom, and I don't know if you can still pull up the
Oh.
Phantom charts. I think
interesting.
they pulled the information off of TradingView. So yeah, and we're seeing it. I mean, it's not just Sonic, we're seeing it across the board with crypto. I noticed Gorth dropped. Helium dropped only 4 cents. So that's encouraging.
Interesting.
Flare lost about 7 cents. So I would almost put that as still showing some strength. But yeah, Sonic, man, that caught me off guard. I really think Sonic has potential to go a lot higher. But it's definitely giving me it's worrying me.
Yeah, I've been watching it to see if it would do. How I usually pick targets based on measured legs and stuff, and I had a measured leg that it came close to hitting.
I think
on that recent drop out of the range.
I think you mentioned 0.05 even. Like
Yeah.
I'm flashing back to that conversation we had. I think you mentioned 0.05. So
Yeah. Crazy, right?
yeah.
And there may be more downside on it. I think with all of crypto, there might be one more leg down just to flush out anybody who bought it, exacting levels like today, like Bitcoin's exacting bounce.
Yeah, for sure. Just again looking at Sonic on the daily, I think this range is correct. We've got a touch there, touch there, touch there. So this would line up really nicely with a shakeout if it manifests. And like you said, it may need to dump another leg lower before that, before that shows up.
Hopefully not, but yeah.
Yeah, prepared, right? Yeah, because even looking at the volume on the daily isn't even that high yet compared to the previous. So I'd want to see something like this. Big volume bar.
Right.
Man.
Yeah, I really thought it looked like what day was it? It had regained the way I have my range drawn. It had regained it back on October 1st. It got back inside that range, and I was like, oh, and it seemed to be holding it for the few days.
Yeah.
But then yesterday and today it started to lose it.
Yeah, we were up here. We're up here at 30 cents. Yeah. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong Sonic. I'm sorry. No wonder this is not making sense. Let's switch to the actual Sonic. There we go.
I have a low of 12 cents on my chart, and maybe I have a different one. Sonic.
Let's see.
USD 1 day.
I have the USD chart as well. Let's pull that up. Sometimes there's some difference between USD, but yeah, they're both coming out a little under 0.08 on this one. daily.
Maybe I have the wrong.
Oh.
Here's this crypto. Let me pull that up. Sonic Inu, is that correct?
No, that's
No.
that's the other Sonic. There actually might be 2 or 3 of them.
The one I have is Sonic USD Spot Crypto Bitfinex. Finex.
It
That's
has
what I've been
this
using.
it has this little symbol that almost looks like a sideways arrow or something.
Yeah, I have that too.
Okay, then that's
Can I show you what I have?
yeah, let's see it.
I hope you can. Hope this isn't too small to read, or I can move it over. Can you see that? Okay.
Let's pulling that up now.
It's
Yeah.
too small. So you may not be able to see much, but this low down here is 12 cents, 12.347 cents. Maybe I can make that even bigger too. That's not making it bigger, is it?
Yeah, not the prices anyway.
Does that help?
Yeah, that helps a lot.
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
that looks like the right ticker. Sonic
I just don't.
dollar Bitfinex. You know, the different exchanges can have different prices too that they hit. That's not uncommon.
Yeah, I've been watching it, expecting it to get to that green line down there, and when it missed it the first time and tried to come back into the range, I was like, okay, I guess I missed an opportunity. But then I've got 2 other levels down here, real close to zero, that I was like, all right,
Jeez.
maybe that's where it's headed. But yeah, so I have my low at, it says 12.4 cents. Our numbers, yeah, are a little different. I guess it's not that much different when you're we're in the pennies range.
Yeah, it might just be the exchange.
Yeah. Okay. I'm glad I have the right thing then.
Yeah. Let's see. Drop it out. Let's take a look at Sonic on the weekly. And again, it's tough because it's didn't start until January, so I don't feel like we're getting the full picture of like what it's done previously as Phantom. I'm still intrigued by this horizontal range, but we're really gonna have to see if it does something. It got so close to your 0.05 level that you mentioned, makes me think maybe it still will. Let's get a nice big solid shakeout. Since the dollar's right here, let's just take a quick look. Dollar's been dropping. Dollar dropped today as well. So the dollar dropped in sympathy with the market. Usually it's inverse. That's different.
Yeah. It had been gaining from its lows a few weeks ago. I think it hit 96.24-ish, something like that.
Yeah.
And it was looking good, and then it dropped off again today.
Yeah, that's an interesting one because I kind of would have expected the market to react the other way.
Right.
I wonder if there's going to be like a delayed reaction.
Yeah, that's true.
See, since we're on the subject of crypto, let's take a look at Ethereum.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a 5-day chart, and this just looks to me like it just tested resistance as support. Even if it goes to the midline, I see that a lot in these horizontal consolidations, which that would be pretty crazy if it did back down to 3,000. I bet it would lose a lot of people right there. But if this thing gets down around there, if it starts to turn around, I'm going to be watching Ethereum to kind of get an idea what the rest of the crypto market's going to do.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't be worried unless it drops below 3,400. It looks like that last pullback low before it ran up to almost 5,000. Just
See.
like last line in the sand for him.
Yeah.
We came close. We came close today.
34, 35. Yeah. I mean, it just looks like it's in free fall. Take a look at AMD. On the daily. Oh yeah, we had a big fall off on AMD too. Look at that daily gap.
You'd think that it would have filled that gap based on today's weakness, but it's holding that little island of a few days there.
Yeah. Yeah, there's got to be a bunch of orders in there.
Do we know what fundamentally was it? Just earnings that created that gap?
AMD they announced some big contract. I think it was a government contract or one of the tech companies was using their stuff or something like that. I forget what it was, something related to that.
Interesting. It's interesting that competitor to NVIDIA is just so strong as well.
Yeah.
Kind of wild.
Yeah, and we've been kind of like tracking AMD for a long time and it hadn't really done anything. And it had kind of followed along like OpenAI deal. That's what it was.
Oh, wow. Yeah. That'll do it.
They announced plans to buy billions of dollars of AI equipment from AMD. They took that partnership to mean that AMD could become a viable challenger to NVIDIA's current top position in the AI chip market. So that was a big bullish news there.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Oh, and it's the maker of ChatGPT.
Yeah, OpenAI, yes, yeah.
Yeah, and so they entered an agreement to potentially own 10% of AMD based on its stock price and partnership milestones. So is NVIDIA, I'm curious if NVIDIA is dialed in with Tesla, right? And Tesla has their own AI. So that kind of makes sense that AMD would partner with ChatGPT, right? Or some other competitor. Plot thickens. Just for kicks, I'm going to look at Shiba. Shiba is just testing support. Doesn't really look like that big of a reaction. Of course, I'm looking at the daily. Big dip. I don't know. It's not too terrible.
Might be a buy if it recovers that green.
Yeah.
Green support level.
That's what I'm thinking. 0.115. So.
Yeah. Do you? I have a question for you. Do you know anything or watch? It's called DAO coin, or it's called BitTensor. I think it's actually what it's called, but I think it's the symbol is TAO.
TAO.
TAO. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't know that one. BitSensor. Tau to USD.
So I have a friend of a friend who's super into it, and it's something to do with it's some kind of currency that's I don't know how else to say it other than like nerdy engineer coding types use to incentivize projects they do and there's a certain amount that's used to as a pot if you go and solve a problem that's kind of like a GitHub but for crypto and it's decentralized. I don't know too much about it, but the fact that it hit $400 and then backed off, the fact that it's even that high is kind of interesting to me.
Yeah, it's up there.
Um, I didn't I As you can see, I can't even really explain what it is or what it's supposed to be used for, but there's somebody who's very, very, very passionate about it who seemed like he knew a lot more about crypto than I did.
Yeah, I don't know that much about it at all. I feel like I may have seen it, but looks like it hit 539, and the recent low was 168. That was back in April.
Yeah,
Um,
I bet it. I bet
yeah, it
it's on
looks
its way to retest that.
yeah, it looks like it's consolidating.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay. I was just curious. Wasn't sure if you had heard about it or not.
no, I'm gonna try to do my due diligence on that and check it
Okay.
out
Yeah.
because it looks like it has a lot of hype, positive hype too, not just meme hype, but like it looks like people, it has a lot of utility.
Yeah, it sounded like there was quite a bit of utility with those guys about it. So yeah, if you find something interesting about it, let me know and let me know what you find.
Yeah, it says it has. Pull this up here. It says that it has a decentralized AI studio
Yeah, that's
named
right. Involved
Yuma,
AI.
development studio and accelerator for decentralized AI. Because they could be a player then in pushing AI.
Yeah, maybe that's why it's so hyped up.
Yeah, that could be.
Weird.
Anything else we should look at? What's GME doing? I saw a weird pattern on GME the other day.
This recent drop is right after the warrants went live. I don't know if you had heard about those warrants. It also failed to fill that gap, so it came real close to filling its
Oh,
previous,
interesting.
Do you know what price were the warrants at?
Yeah, you can buy a warrant at like what is it? Almost $2 now, maybe.
Dang.
And explain that. What is a warrant and how does that work? What is that for?
It's essentially an option. So it expires. Expiration date is the end of October 2026. $32 is the strike price for GameStop.
Okay.
And all GameStop shareholders prior to that sell-off, if you had owned shares of GameStop, for every 10 you owned, you got one warrant.
Oh.
For free. I mean, so you can exercise it before 2026, October 2026.
I mean, it seems like a
30.
pretty reasonable target for it to hit 32 with everything that's happening with them having Bitcoin holdings and Bitcoin being in a bull run.
Yeah.
That seems pretty likely.
They had really good earnings last quarter too.
Okay.
It-
Was their earnings based on the brick and mortar GameStop sales, or was it based on their Bitcoin holdings?
It's not based on their Bitcoin owners because they didn't really buy that much considering how much cash they have on hand.
Yeah.
And they didn't buy it. Ryan Cohen's the CEO. He didn't really buy at quite a great level. I mean, he really waited after it did that 70,000 test or just under 80,000 tests that it did. He waited until it bounced back up to like 108 or something like that. I don't know. But no, the earnings were based on sales figures. They trimmed a lot of their fat, and they're really getting into the collectible space and like Pokemon cards and stuff. And I didn't know this was even a burgeoning market until I owned some GameStop and started looking into it. But they've really it seems like he's turned the company around, but I know that the sentiment around the company is still pretty negative, pretty bullish, and you can see that on the chart. But it is still up quite a bit from its all-time lows, and even its lows from like a year or two ago.
So that's really interesting. it sounds like they're getting in on like the more digital game of NFTs and things like that, right?
Yeah.
I think that's a wise move. This was
Yeah.
the pattern too that I was talking about. You know, you had this sloping wedge, which was, you know, likely it was going to break out, test near the high, which it did. But then it went sideways, you know, and so this, I mean, this looks like an accumulation. Um, I'm really curious where this ends, this sideways movement. I just feel like
Right.
usually, you know, you see a breakout, you see it come back and test and go, or you see it fail and drop down to the bottom again, or at least to the midline. It did neither. It just started kind of doing its own thing. So
Yeah.
that's different.
He announced that let's see, it was like I think it was he announced back in March he was going to release these convertible bonds. And I think it was, I don't remember how many millions of dollars worth of convertible bonds for anybody who wanted to buy them. And he did it actually twice. And it tanked the stock, but as you can see, it ripped after April was done up to $35, and then he did another announcement of another convertible bonds. So he's kind of diluted the stock, but he's raised hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars that he's got in the company. He's got billions of dollars. I mean, he's got so much cash on hand. He has more cash on hand than like companies like Nvidia and the Mag 7 have. So the big question is, what is he doing with this cash?
Yeah.
What is he ultimately going to? It seems like you would get that much cash because you're going to buy something. You're going to buy another company. I mean, they were even talking about him potentially buying TikTok. That obviously didn't happen. But
Wow.
I don't know what he's going to do with all that cash. He's still sitting on all that cash. In addition to that cash, he's got a bunch of Bitcoin too. I think he bought $500 million worth of Bitcoin. But he's got like $9 billion in cash in Bitcoin.
Yeah,
Seems to be what everybody's doing right now. It's just putting a huge chunk of cash into Bitcoin. The
Yeah.
digital asset treasury strategies.
That would be great if he bought a bunch. We still don't know. He only has that original purchase he bought back in, I don't know when it was, like maybe May. I think he bought some in May. There's been no more announcement of any more buying. I wish he had bought a ton. You know, I wish he bought at least $1 billion worth. Since he's sitting on $9 billion in cash.
Yeah, it's an interesting point. It really does sound like they're gearing up to buy something.
Yeah. So I'm holding some shares. I'm in the red in those shares, but I'm waiting to find out what this is all about. But I'm getting worn out. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, it's a tricky beast, GameStop. I never had much luck trading it except short. I think it was.
So how long are you going to hold Palantir?
Good question. We talked about that the other day. I was trying to hold on to until it hit $200. I was going to sell at 200. But we are definitely in a range now.
It's getting close though, man.
It has gotten 190 is the all-time high. There is a solid range between $151 and $186, $87 that it's been kind of fluctuating between since July, the beginning of around July. It's kind of hit the top, hit the bottom, hit the top again. It looks like it's headed back towards at least the midline. There's also a strong bull channel it's been in since June. Looks like June 5th has started my bull channel that I've been evaluating it from, but I do think it's going to go higher than $200 ultimately. My original plan was to hold this thing forever, but my moral emotions are getting the better of me, since I understand that they're highly involved with the, not to get political here, but the genocide in Gaza. Seem like they're working hand in hand with the Israeli government to execute all these bombings to the point that employees have been leaving the company. So I was like, it's time for me to get out and make some money on this trade.
Yeah, there's some crazy stories with Palantir, man. It's yeah, you
Yeah.
almost don't know what to believe.
Right. I'm not sure. I've since I bought it, I've really had high hopes for it to go to like $1,000 someday. But then when you start hearing that one of the founders of it is potentially the Antichrist, you start to question whether it's morally,
Yeah.
you should morally be holding it. And I've been holding it since $23.
Wow.
Man.
So that's all the way back in September, August. Or that July.
I bought it last year.
Yeah.
I think I bought it. I got gapped. I think I bought it in like February, March of last year, I think, and I've just been holding it since.
That's it. Jeez, I didn't even realize it had gone that much
Yeah.
in a year. Yeah.
Right. It's been explosive. So like how much higher should I hold on to it? So I just really started investing long term right around then, and I haven't sold anything since I started investing. So this will be my first like sell, my first big win. So
That's awesome.
I'll be pretty happy even if it keeps going to 1,000 at some point. But
You think maybe you'll keep some, like you'll sell like a bulk of it and then keep some just as a runner and see what happens?
I might.
Maybe, or
We'll
just
see
sell
what,
them.
we'll
Yeah.
see what happens when it gets to 200. Maybe it'll blast through 200 and just keep going.
That would be. Yeah, it looks like it's in a strong uptrend, but it also looks like it's kind of hitting a ceiling.
Yeah.
Probably blast through again, but definitely had big pullback here, and then this starting to look dicey.
Yeah.
What happens with that? I was trading this back in 2016, trading options on it, and all through 21, 22, and then it just hung around down here, $8, $10, $12 for like the longest time. And I just gave up on it. I don't know what all the hype is on this thing. And I just kind of started ignoring it. It wasn't until recently it really started making the news.
Yeah, and I think that's really there's a big community of retail investors that love this stock, and they bought it in like the $7 and $10 ranges. I think they were the only ones buying it back then. They knew before the investor class really got involved with it. And you can see when the big boys got involved that it starts to really rip. But
Yeah.
I remember day trading it a couple years ago, and it was in the 20s and 30s. We were just trying to trade it then.
Yeah, it was the first stock I bought.
Yeah.
Yeah, I sold for a loss. It was like somewhere around $19 then. Pretty crazy. Long time ago.
Time flies in the trading world.
Sure does.
Yeah, I feel like I'm gonna do a little deep dive on Palantir now that we've talked about it, and see what I can dig up in the news and all the comments. Fun.
Yeah. There's a lot of comments a lot of negative comments.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I was watching the most recent Joe Rogan podcast. He had Duncan Trussell on, and they always dress up when they get together. But Duncan's wearing a Palantir hat, and I haven't finished the podcast yet. I wonder what he has to say about it. I'm sure he hates them, so it's hilarious that he's wearing their hat.
That's wild. If you think of it, send me a link of that. I want to watch that.
Okay.
Duncan, what's his name? Duncan Boynton?
Duncan Trussell?
Duncan Trussell.
Yeah.
I see it. Yeah, Duncan Trussell.
That's a pretty good episode so far. They talk about how Tucker Carlson had Sam Altman on to talk to him, and he brought up the fact that he thinks that Sam Altman had one of his employees killed. Sam Altman thinks the guy had committed suicide. He openly calls him out. That's another good podcast to watch. It's pretty awkward, pretty crazy.
Oh
I
wow.
was just listening to that on my way home. I'm only halfway through.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
Yeah, he hammers him pretty hard. Tucker does.
Tucker better have good security. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, he's going for it, huh? He's digging into the conspiracies. I was watching the one on 9/11.
Oh yeah, that's another good one.
Well, let's see. Is there anything else we want to touch on before we close out?
I just wanted to mention gold and silver didn't really move at all today. There are two that just hung out the eyes. I guess that's where all the money's going. Gold, I think,
Oh, yeah.
it's holding $4,000 an ounce.
That's
Look at that.
crazy, Brax.
Yeah, gold has
Yeah.
just been going up and up and up.
China's been buying it.
Yeah. Did you also say silver? Is that the other one?
Yeah,
Gold and silver.
silver's very close. Oh no, silver did make a new all-time high as well. I think 49.95. It almost hit $50.
Yeah.
That's an all-time high for silver as well.
Yeah, so it's testing. It looks like it's testing the all-time high back in 2011 at 50. Hard to see. It's hard to tell. It may have gone past it a little. Like it passed it by $1 or something, 30 cents.
Yeah, that's right. All-time high. 49.82 maybe, I think.
Sounds right.
Yeah, January 2011. Yep.
Uranium's the big one that I'm holding. URA is the index that has a bunch of miners in it too.
It
It's been
has
doing it.
so it mines like metals.
Yeah, a bunch of uranium miners.
That's the URA. I think I've seen you trading that.
Yeah. And it's been killing it lately.
Oh yeah,
Oh, it's got room to go too.
it does.
Wow.
It's like a nice big cup handle that got back tested a second time, then took off. I mean, what, 130, 135?
Now, have you thought about holding the physical mineral itself?
I hear
Keep it in a box under my bed.
Yeah, it's like an extra power source for your lamps and stuff, you know.
Yeah. Power the whole street.
Yeah,
Wow.
somebody's probably tried it.
So all these rare earth minerals are just ripping right now. I guess that's what the whole argument with Trump and China is that China's not willing to budge on any of that. I don't know. I was trying to read his tweet. It's pretty it was a pretty unhinged tweet.
Was it a long tweet?
Yeah, it was a long one.
If it comes up here. I know he did one on True Social, which I think got relayed to X.
Oh, and maybe that's what I saw too. It might have been a Truth Social post. A truth.
That's right, a truth. Eli, is there anything else that you wanted to touch on, or anything that wanted to add to that?
No, yeah, no. That was all really. I just believe that uranium's going to be a really big one over the next decade, maybe more, but definitely a long-term kind of thing.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point.
AI and all the energy it's going to need. I think nuclear is going to come back in a big way.
Yeah, if we could ever just like as a global community focus on nuclear for energy instead of nuclear for bombing each other,
Yeah.
you know, it, it just seems like it would be huge for everyone.
Something I learned too is that it's possible to recycle nuclear waste. France has been doing it for a long time. The U.S. just banned it because of there's like a very small risk that you could turn it into a bomb, the waste, and so we just banned the processing of it.
Oh, that's interesting.
That was in the 50s.
Right.
So there's a market for used uranium.
Yeah, there definitely is.
It's messed up.
I just posted his tweet or his truth in the main text channel. I don't know where else I could put it, but
Oh, I see it.
I think that's the one.
Let's see, got it here. It's actually fairly well written.
Yeah, he had help in this one, I think.
He had spell check was on.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one looks like it was curated a bit, edited a bit. But yeah, the tone of it's unmistakable.
Oh, this is the more recent one. This is not. I don't think this is the one he posted originally this morning. This is the one. This is the one when he got real mad. Now that I'm looking at it, there's one from earlier too, but I guess this is the one that really matters at this point.
Yeah, that's something else I'm gonna do another deep dive, see what's going on.
Oh, I have the other one. It's much more unhinged. You're definitely right. That one's a little bit nicer. The second one I just sent is, I think, him just going. What? It's like one sentence.
Oh, here we go.
The
Yeah,
recent one
this
from the
this is
site,
the
okay.
2 a.m. one.
Yeah.
We
This
cleaned
is
this
where he
up.
talks about rare earths and stuff.
There's no periods. It's only commas.
Yeah.
It's the longest run-on sentence that anyone's ever written.
Yeah.
Log the markets, trade hostility. They've been lying in wait, proven right, holding the world captive. Mentions the Middle East. Yeah, this really shook up the market. I'm fascinated to see what happens next week. We still have the government shutdown, right? So,
Yeah.
the last one was 39 days. They usually only last for 8 days. I've been hearing a ton of there's been a lot of issues with the air traffic controllers not showing up for work because they're not getting paid. And I heard a couple days ago we had air traffic controllers in San Diego, which is 2 hours and 15 minutes away from here, were controlling flights in Burbank, which is terrifying.
Wow.
I've heard that LAX is okay because I think they're taking care of their people, and it's such a big one they need more. But the smaller airports definitely having some impact here. Also, all the layoffs, right? They're laying people off left and right, or they're threatening to.
Yeah, heard some of that today.
Yeah.
I thought they got rid of 50% of the IRS employees. Something like that. I heard a couple days ago.
Well, I can't say I'm mad at that.
I was like, okay, that's cool.
Get rid of all of them. That was the one promise he was like, I'm going to abolish the IRS, and I was like, okay, I can get behind that. Let's see you do that. That'd be nice. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and close this out. Been a great session. Going to post this to YouTube and X. Thank you guys for joining in. Always a pleasure trading with you in the mornings, and I always appreciate your input and insights because it makes me a better person, more informed trader. And so I appreciate you guys for that.
Thank Thanks for
Yeah,
joining.
same here.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, thanks for joining in. And we will be, trying to do this at least once a week, sometimes more. We've had a couple sessions where it was slow and I was able to jump in during the live trading sessions, so that's always fun as well. But I get so much out of these weekly chats. So thanks again for joining in, and give us a like, hit that subscribe button. Feel free to join the Discord. It's listed in the bio, and we'll see you out there.